All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Sunday morning, December 4th, 12:02 p.m. on the East Coast. And yeah, I'm going to call it like it was a terror attack. There's going to be a press conference in Moore County at 4 o'clock with the Moore County Sheriff's Department and likely all the government officials that are going to be there. Well, last night, it seems that a coordinated attack took place on at least three power stations in Moore County, North Carolina, where gunmen were shooting at the power stations and resulting, it knocked off power to approximately 47,000 people. As you can see here, this is the live outage. According to Duke Energy, they are out 37,998 currently without power. That includes a tremendous amount of hospitals. There are hospitals there, and we'll go through all of that as well. But Duke Energy is without power. A lot of these other companies, Randolph EMC, is without power too. The sheriffs and certain people have said that up to three different stations have been impacted by this. And we'll just go. This local news outlet called The Pilot has been talking about this since the very beginning. And we're going to run through everything. You may have seen the title of this video and you may be saying, what are you talking about? Well, we'll go through this whole thing. So according to The Pilot, this news outlet out of Moore County, David McNeil, a district representative for Duke Energy. I don't know why it's not switching over to this page on your screen. But again, according to this article, David McNeil, a district representative for Duke Energy, told The Pilot late Saturday night that at least two of the company's substations were vandalized. He said he didn't know the extent of the damage or how the vandalism occurred. The power company first reported outages shortly after 8 p.m. on Saturday, starting with more than 2,000 customers without power in areas of US 15, 501, and North Carolina 2427 corridor around in Carthage. At approximately 8:45 p.m., outages were reported across the southern end of the county from Vass to Pine Bluff, accounting for approximately 12,000 customers. As the outages spread, in less than an hour later, most of the county and some of outside of the county were impacted. Then at 10 p.m., at 9:42 p.m., emergency scanner traffic reported several explosions heard in Carthage. In a text message to a reporter, Chief Mike Cameron of the Southern Pines Fire and Rescue Department confirmed that substations had been shot at. He said the agency is preparing to be out of power for 24 hours. At around 10:30 p.m. on Saturday, heavy police presence was around several gun shops and a Walmart in Aberdeen around 10:30 p.m. after reports of looting. One woman was detained in front of Walmart, and police were conducting a head count of employees inside the store. Data from the website poweroutage.us showed more than 40,600 local electric customers, or about 63.7% of the county's customers, were without power as of Saturday night. Most of those were from Duke Energy. Around 11:48 p.m., the Moore County Sheriff's Office has released a statement saying that they are investigating incidents at multiple electric substations in Moore County that were shot up on Saturday night as a criminal occurrence, causing more than half the county's electric customers to lose power. According to the press release, shortly after 7 p.m. Saturday, as utilities companies began responding to the different substations, evidence was discovered that indicated that intentional vandalism had occurred at multiple sites. Moore County Sheriff's deputies and various other law enforcement agencies within the county responded to different areas and are providing further security, it went on to say. As of midnight, a reporter on scene with The Pilot at the Duke Energy substation in North Carolina 211 near West Pine Middle School could hear and smell oil leaking from the facility. Workers from Duke Energy and authorities from the sheriff's office were scanning the area for bullet casings and other evidence, and vehicles were going through the woods in search of more evidence at the scene. As of this morning, the gate to the West End substation off of North Carolina near West Pine Middle School is lying on the side of the road. A pole leading up to the gate had been clearly snapped off where it meets the ground. The substation's infrastructure was heavily damaged, but workers on site declined to comment. At 9 a.m. this morning, just over 3 hours ago, Moore County residents woke up to dark houses. Local businesses began to open up and serve them. A couple of businesses out there, Southern Pines Grower, Hot Asana Yoga Company, Red Corner, and Ice Cream Parlor were among those operating. Around 10 a.m., Governor Roy Cooper's office issued a statement saying Cooper has spoken with Duke Energy and state law enforcement officials about the power outages in Moore County. They are investigating and working to return electricity to those impacted. A representative from Moore County's public utilities who requested anonymity said, as he is not authorized to speak to the press, said the county is using generators or to power sewer and water systems. At this time, he said most systems are up and running. These systems do require power to avoid overflow and keep their contents moving. A Facebook post by Southern Pines Fire and Rescue said Southern Pines Water and Sewer are operating on generator power, and we anticipate no interruption of those services. Around 10:30 this morning, the town of Robbins had power, no issues there. Around 10:30 a.m. this morning, Moore Regional Hospital is functioning as normal using backup generators, according to First Health of the Carolinas spokesperson Emily Sloan. Sloan said emergency power system is tested on a monthly basis to ensure it will provide a seamless transition, and confirmed that the generators were enabled within seconds. On Saturday evening, First Health had enough fuel on site to power the emergency generators for several days. However, First Health's 3 convenient care clinics and fitness centers in Moore County are without power and not open. Sloan said they have received some inquiries from individuals who use medical devices that may need to be charged or patients on oxygen. She said the emergency room is open and willing to help them. Moore County Schools said the system is communicating with the town, and there's no closures yet, but they'll update everybody later. And then, yeah, it goes on. And I don't know. Let's see if there's a new update. They're probably just going to say there's going to be, there's quite a few updates. Where was it? The town of Southern Pines posted to Facebook that we recommend preparing for an extended outage lasting possibly another 24 to 48 hours. The town said its water and sewer system is operating on generator power with no interruption is expected. All non-essential services in Southern Pines are closed, including the library. Harris Teeter announced it would distribute free ice on Sunday while supplies last for those affected by the power outage. That's at all their stores in Taylortown, Carthage, and Aberdeen. Moore County Sheriff's Office said they'll hold the press conference, like I said. So that's the latest update from this outlet, The Pilot. Now, what's kind of interesting about this is you may or may not know the Department of Homeland Security on Wednesday issued a new terrorism threat, and it's not shown on your screen for some reason. I don't know why it does this. Anyway, the United States, and this is what they say, that the United States remains in a heightened terror threat environment. Lone offenders and small groups motivated by a range of ideological beliefs and personal grievances may continue to pose a persistent lethal threat to the homeland. Domestic actors and foreign terrorist organizations continue to maintain a visible presence online in attempts to motivate supporters to conduct attacks in the homeland. Threat actors have recently mobilized to violence, citing factors such as reaction to current events and adherence to violent extremist ideologies. In the coming month, threat actors could exploit several upcoming events to justify acts of violence, including certifications related to midterm elections, blah, 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 the holiday season, and associated large gatherings. The marking of 2 years since the breach of the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, of course, they would throw that in there, and a potential socio-political development connected to ideological beliefs or personal hostility. Targets of potential violence include public gatherings, faith-based institutions, the LGBTQ plus community, schools, racial and religious minorities, government facilities and personnel, U.S. critical infrastructure, i.e. power, the media, and perceived ideological opponents. Now, why is that important? Because they're saying that attacks on LGBTQ and on our critical infrastructure may happen. Obviously, it's being framed. Listen, I don't like to get too conspiratorial, but the fact of the matter is, this is not acts of vandalism. You know, I could see if one of these facilities had bullet wounds, but three bullet fragments or whatever, but 3 separate facilities that all have been vandalized within an hour of each other. It's too convenient. It reminds me of San Jose back in 2013 when those snipers shot at the power grid there for about what did they do? 90 rounds, I believe, and they've never been caught for what I understand. And it kind of makes you worry about this a little bit because NPR and all these big news outlets actually covered that one in San Antonio in 2013. And then actually on 60 Minutes back in August of this year, they actually talked about this all again, saying that, if 20 of our power grids are attacked at the very same time, then it's done. We would lose power for days and days, if not longer than that, across the United States. They did a whole big, segment on it on 60 Minutes back in August. People want to call this vandalism. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to call it an act of terror. I believe personally that this was an attempt to cause terror. That's my personal belief. And one of the reasons I say that is there was a controversial drag show scheduled for last night. Now, this is, again, and this was in Monroe County as well. This comes from the same news article that we just did the whole update on everything. 6 hours after blocking off downtown and Southern Pines for the town's annual holiday parade, police returned to the block surrounding the Sunrise Theater to prepare for a drag performance show. That was last night. That has generated significant protests and controversy in the town on social media. The Downtown Divas drag show, which was scheduled for 7 p.m. last night and did not start until 7:40 p.m. last night. Keep in mind, power went out at 8 o'clock. It was scheduled as a fundraiser for Sandhills Pride, a local nonprofit supporting the LGBTQ community. The show originally allowed for children and teenagers to attend because they're sick, but followed angry protests online. The Sunrise Sandhills Pride announced that only individuals 18 or more or older would be allowed to attend. The drag show just came after a couple of weeks after the shooting rampage at Club Q in Colorado Springs. That was done by a non-binary guy. Or I can't say guy, right? Because he was non-binary. Anyway, after the attack, Sandhills Pride began discussing its own upcoming drag event. Security was tight around the theater. Yesterday afternoon, the town had approved 2 permits for protests, one for those opposed to the drag show and one for supporters. Opponents gathered and staged their protest at the downtown train stations across the street from the theater. Police erected barricades on the street around the theater and posted signs saying no weapons were allowed in the designated protest demonstration area. Uniformed officers had a heavy presence as police began gathering downtown. Officers from Southern Pines, Pinehurst, Aberdeen, and Moore County Sheriff's Office, numbering more than 35, were on hand to control both protesters and counter-protesters. Southern Pines Police Chief Nick Pilardi said they ended up with little to do other than to look on, basically saying everything was mellow. Approximately 30 protesters, or approximately 50 protesters, stood across the street from Sunrise and organized a loose prayer circle. Their permit covered a protest from 5 to 7 p.m. Following the group's prayer circle, a number of protesters spent their time reading scripture verses out loud, directing them with a handheld amplifier toward the counter-protesters. And then you could see back and forth. Protesters said they were also there to pray for those participating in the show. And then it goes on to talk about, quotes from some people that live there. It says, while drag show protesters gathered early, they were eventually outnumbered significantly by counter-protesters, a number of whom waved rainbow flags, homemade signs, and called out specific individuals, had stoked outrage towards the drag performance on Facebook over the past couple of weeks. Counter-protesters chanted, "Love is love," and "I love you," and "Love is not hate," blah, blah, blah. Southern Pines resident Monique Baker, I don't want to read any of these quotes. So this drag performance started. A group of people were, protesting this shortly thereafter. And this has widely been disputed. For anyone that doesn't know, that whenever there's a drag performance, rightfully so, people come up to counter protest those performances. And I say rightfully so because I firmly believe in the First Amendment. Protesting is a First Amendment speech. Okay. Do I necessarily agree with everything? It's all stupid. I mean, that's what I have to say. For people to allow children to be in a sexualized thing doesn't make any darn sense for me too. But after there aren't children, I don't know why people care about other people going out and dressing as women or dudes or what. For me, it doesn't make any sense. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why people care so much about what other people do, especially if children aren't present. I understand if children are there, then that makes sense. But if children aren't going to be there, who cares? That's my belief. I just don't understand why everyone wants to find such a big deal with it. With that said, there were a tremendous amount of protests yesterday that took place across the country. There was one in Ohio where Proud Boys, militia members, LARPers, and then Patriot Front, the feds, they all came out and were protesting outside of a drag show that was actually canceled because once they learned that the Proud Boys were going to be there, they canceled that. There was another one, I think, in New York where Proud Boys showed up to cancel that one. It didn't cancel, I believe, but it just continued on. And then there's a bunch of other ones. We've seen this for several weeks where Proud Boys or patriots or Christians or whatever go out to protest these different events. And so be it, because I believe in the First Amendment. I believe that people can go and protest whatever they want, but I'm not going to say that people have a right. And it's not a First Amendment expression to commit an attack, on a power station in an effort to shut down something that you're protesting against. No, those are acts of terrors. And I don't care that I may align with the conservatives on this. It's still an act of terror. There are people there that are on oxygen. There are people with CPAP machines. There are people that need medical devices to survive, let alone the fact that it's probably in the 50s or 60s in Moore County. It's cold. You got elderly people. And it's very frustrating to me that people are cheering it on. Some people, in fact, are calling it an act of God. One person wrote on Facebook saying, that power shut down the drag show, and I know what happened. That person, who you guys all may remember, which is it's weird. I mean, it's really weird. How many of you guys remember from the January 6th? There was all these news articles about this lady, Emily Rainey. She was a captain that was involved in. She wasn't involved in J6. She literally just led a group of patriots to DC. She didn't go in the White House. She was never charged with anything, but she was an Army psychological warfare officer. So she actually had to, get out of the military and all that stuff because of her presence and the fact that the media jumped on it. Well, apparently yesterday, Emily Rainey, the same lady, took to social media to say, hey, I know what happened. The drag show was shut down. The drag show was shut down and I know what happened. So of course she got a welcome, but the police went to investigate her, to which she replied something. See, this was her tweet. Said the power is out in Moore County and I know why. And then she posted Sunrise Theater, God will not be mocked. And then, them out of power. And then this was an interesting post. She said, the Moore County Sheriff's Office checked in. I welcomed them into my home. Sorry they wasted their time. I told them that God works in mysterious ways and is responsible for the outage. I used the opportunity to tell them all about the immoral drag shows and blasphemies, screamed at its supporters, blah, blah, blah. God is chastising Moore County. She thanked them for coming and wished them a good night. Thankful for Elio's service as always. So she posted that yesterday. She's been the target of the majority of the rhetoric that I've been able to find out online, and probably rightfully so, because she made a stupid comment saying, what the hell did she say? The power is out in Moore County and I know why. But she could have been inferring that she knows why because God, struck down and shut the power off. But it was a real stupid comment when you think about it because it's only going to garnish national attention. So what we do know now, and there's going to be a press conference at 4:00. I'm not going to cover it. I'm actually waiting for an email from Lowe's to tell me that our order is ready for pickup. And then I got to go pick that up and bring it to the coffee shop to try to get ready for the inspection. But what we do know now is that 40 plus people are without power. Someone said, Tammy said, Steve, I like you, but you don't know that this wasn't an act of God. None of us know what God will do. Here's the truth. I do know that if a man fires a gun into a power station, and while he's doing that, another man fires a gun into a separate power station, and then another man somewhere else fires a gun into a power station. Guess what? It's not. It's not an act of God. So nobody could say it is. So people are like, oh, this was an act of God. No, it wasn't. This was intentional terrorism on our power grid. Nobody, no matter who you are, no matter what you believe, should be applauding this at all. Does that make sense? 40,000 people, not 40 people, But I can't believe someone just said, you don't know that this wasn't an act of God. Yes, I do. Because it's vandalism. People did it. Are you saying that person was touched by God, told to grab his gun and go shoot a power station? Come on, dude. This is terror. That's what it is. Terror comes from the right just as much as it comes from the left, just it comes from ideological reasons, whatever. We still have to be uniform and call it what it is. You can't approve of something just because of your political ideology. You really can't. So please stop doing that. Someone said it's a power substation, not a power station. Same thing. Well, at least it is to me. It's a power substation, right? So, so yeah, God apparently shot a gun. You sound like a liberal, right? Where the guns are killing people. We must ban the guns and not do mental health. It's the same thing. But it's kind of interesting to think about this because there is a lot of track history of this being almost like, I don't want to be conspiratorial or anything, but just 3 days ago, Homeland Security issues a warning saying that there's going to be, or that they've received information. There's an increased threat assessment on LGBTQ events. You have CBS News on 60 Minutes publishing, a 15-minute expose about the attacks on our power grids, specifically using firearms and how easy it is. And then you have the 2013. And keep in mind, guys, Russia's been doing this to Ukraine. Ukraine's been doing it to Russia. Syria, it's been happening in Syria. It happens in third world countries all the time where they're sabotaging these substations in an effort to have no power, But we don't know if it's left or right or anything else. You notice how I'm not saying it's a bunch of right-wingers that are going out with guns to do it. What I'm doing is telling you that this was, in fact, an act of domestic terror, and it was a terror incident. That's what it is. We don't know if it has any connection at all to the drag show. We have no idea whether there's any connection at all to the drag show, but I can, because I'm a commentator, I can make that connection because, well, there seems to be overwhelming evidence that it is connected to the drag show. We don't know if it actually is, but I could surmise that it is based on the mounds of evidence that it is. You know what I mean? It's funny how that works, right? What else? So someone said, why the hell is the drag show mentioned in the damn title? Because you just pay attention to what I just said. Because I'm going to make the connection that it is connected to it. Because, and to be honest, what did I say? What did I say in this title? Let me double check. What in my title is wrong? Because I say, terror attacks in North Carolina, cancel drag show, and leave 40,000 without power. I didn't say terror attack, drag show, terror attack. I didn't say that. I said terror attack in North Carolina cancels drag show, which is 100% true. The drag show was canceled. They had no power. So all the dudes that were dressed as women dancing, nobody could see them. They're in the dark in a freaking old theater. So they canceled it. So my title is 100% correct. Everything I've said during this, that's the thing. That's the thing that people have to realize is I use, a little bit of thinking before I put stuff out, just a little bit, not too much, a little bit. What else? Someone said it's not connected. It just so happens that it affected them. Yeah. How did they know shortly after the attack that it was a drag show? That it was for the drag show? Nobody said it was specifically for the drag show. I'm saying that there likely is a connection because I can't understand. All right, listen. If a town, if a community has a huge public outcry about an event, okay? A huge public outcry about an event and they're unable to get it canceled. And then something happens which forces that to cancel. Wouldn't you say that those two are connected in some way? That's what I am doing. That's what I am doing. An act of terrorism, I agree, but from whom it always happens after the government put out an alert. Yeah, I'm not saying that the right did this even. I mean, we all know from watching the riots of 2020 that sometimes people on the left will attack themselves or their people and then blame it on the right. We've seen it numerous times. So let's not even pretend like that isn't a possibility. We don't know who is responsible for the attacks on the power stations in North Carolina at this point. We don't know. But what we do know is that a drag show was canceled. We do know that hospitals were affected. We do know that 40,000 plus people are affected by this. We do know that there's likely going to be some, people are going to be scared in North Carolina because they don't have any power. If they don't have generators, if they're not fortunate enough to have a spare generator lying around, they're screwed. You know what I mean? We have to be honest about it and not just be like, well, we don't know. We don't know this. Or for people to say it's an act of God, come on, bro. This was literally people shooting at power stations or sabotaging power stations. Because remember, one of the reporters heard fuel leaking out of one of the tanks and smelled fuel. I don't know if a single bullet would do that. So and then the gate was knocked over. So I don't know if they went and there were reports of explosions and stuff. So, I mean, this seems like a coordinated terror attack on United States soil. And we'll likely hear about it, because I guarantee what they're going to do is they're going to find out, they're going to find bullet casings, or they're going to find something, and then it will make national news. As of right now, it's still pretty early. It hasn't made national news yet. Give it a couple of minutes. By the time the chief of police holds a press conference at 4:00, it'll be national news. I can almost guarantee. You know? But someone said can't claim terrorism because there's no victims. What are you talking about? There's 40,000 people without power. How would you say there's no victims? How would you say that? How would you say there's no, come on, guys. Like, I don't understand how people can even say that. There are no victims. You can't call it terror. Yes, you 100% can. I'm just reading some of these chats to see what people are saying on social media. Oh, by the way, guys, if you like this show and you want to support me, there's a link in your chat right now that you can do so. And I would appreciate it. And if you don't like the show and you think I'm completely wrong, there's a link in the chat where you can go and complain with the donation. See what I did there? Yeah. Lookner reported on it. Yeah, it was in the middle of the night. Yep. Someone else said people like to argue semantics. Yes, they do. Johnny said, whose side are you on, the pedophiles? Oh, do I believe every cross-dressing drag queen or whatever is a pedophile? No, I don't. Listen, I have a different belief than you guys. I don't give a crap. It doesn't affect me if a dude wears a dress. It only affects me if a dude wears a dress in front of children. That wasn't happening at this drag queen event because people canceled it, rightfully so. I don't care if a dude wears a dress. I really don't. It doesn't affect me. I'm sure I may say it's weird or something like that, but it doesn't affect me. I don't know why it affects so many other people. You know what I mean? It's like, do you wear clothes I just don't know. I don't know. Yes, it was 3 different power stations. Let's read the chat and get all people pissed off at me on this Sunday morning. Let's go. Who wants to talk some crap? Here's what I'll do. All right. If you want me to get really mad, you must send like a $20 Cash App or better and write your comment in that memo, and then I will yell at you through the live stream. I got to do whatever I got to do to make money. They don't monetize my videos on YouTube. Someone said, I get it was domestic terrorism, but the government isn't stopping this. They should be. So although I don't agree with it, I can at least see why people feel the need to handle it themselves. No, that's the stupidest thing. It's like, oh, someone jumped off a bridge and lived, so let me go jump off same bridge because there's a higher likelihood I'll live. No, you still run the possibility of dying. I don't know why people think that, bro. Yeah. Nearly 40,000 in the dark is a massive power outage. It hits Moore County. Yep. Wes Ross said, so child abuse doesn't matter unless it's your children. What an absurd take. Nope, you didn't hear what I said. You didn't hear what I said. I didn't say my children. I said unless it involves children. Do you know what I mean? Guys, you got to be honest and say not every drag show involves children. Like, come on, dude. I don't care about the ones that don't. The ones where they do, guys, it's fucking odd. It's odd to me that a dude wants to dress up as a woman. It's completely odd. I get that. I don't understand it. Is it something that like every day it rips at my soul and I'm retweeting it and being like, oh my God, these fucking sickos? No, I'm not. I'm a power lifter. I lift 600 pounds 3 times a week. People would be like, that's sick. That's weird. Why are you doing that? Oh, it's fucking gross. I've had all those comments. People are like, you're on roids, all those things. Do you understand? Everybody is allowed to be an individual. That is the freedoms that America has, or it should. I don't understand why people go out and protest stuff. Like if you're doing it for religious reasons and you are like a street preacher or something, hey, I get that. but just everyone else being so up in arms about it. And we're talking about these little events that are made for adults, not the ones that allow children. We're not talking about drag queen story times or any of that shit. Those are all wrong. But I don't understand. It's like going to a strip club. Strip clubs are wrong. They're gross, actually. If you've ever been to one, they're disgusting. But strip clubs are wrong. I don't pass judgment on the people that work there. Yes, I do. Never mind. That's not a good example. But you know what I'm saying? Mary said, I'm a red-faced freak. Okay. I'm Irish. So yeah, I do have a red face. Thanks. Thanks for pointing that out. Someone said, Steve, the government has known how vulnerable for many years. You got to write a full statement because it doesn't make any sense when you don't write a full statement. We got a $25 Venmo. What's this say? Oh, it just says, enjoy the day. Thank you, Linda. And Lisa with a $5 Cash App. I appreciate you too. Someone else said they must be new to be commenting about my red face. Yeah, I guess you are. Steve said, you going to each drag show to tell us if kids are there? No. Guys, you're missing the fucking point. Do you believe that I have the right in my own house to walk around naked? Because if you say I don't, then I mean that's not a good example either. I'm trying to make this as fucking stupid as possible so that people can get it. For me personally, I don't care if a dude wears a dress. I don't. You know what I care more about is the people that are going after those people, the people that are harming those people, the people that are accosting those people, because you're not allowing someone to live however they want. And we're not talking about the children's stuff. Anything involving kids is fucking wrong. But I don't care if a fat dude wants to put on a dress and pretend he's a chick. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. I don't hang out with fat dudes that pretend they're women. I don't care. I don't know why so many of you do. Someone said, I love how you just put out facts no matter what side of the news you're on. Yeah, I know. Not every drag show is half naked or sexual fully dressed. Yeah, I don't even want to really read about what happens in drag shows. But I see the comments. A lot of you guys agree and a lot of don't. Let people live the way they want as long as they're not harming anyone. Steve, please verify, then trust instead of trust, then verify. Quick to conclusions, 90% to the wrong one. Yeah, Richard, I have no idea who you are. And if you watch my show, then you know your statement is 100% incorrect because we don't really report on anything that's false. No matter what anybody says, based on the fact that police have already said these substations were vandalized, 3 different substations were vandalized, I personally came to the conclusion that this was an act of domestic terror. I believe if one substation is vandalized for any reason, it's an act of domestic terror. Do you understand? And if you look at the title, I said it cancels the drag event. You know what it also canceled? People getting a night's sleep because now they're worried that they're not going to be able to breathe because they can't use their CPAP machines. Or people that are running out of oxygen right now freaking out because they don't have enough gas to make it to the store. Or people that are freaking out because it's cold and it's not even that cold, but they're cold. That's terror, guys. I don't understand why you don't get that. Some of you guys do get it. Someone said some people cross-dress does not mean they're groomers. No, a groomer is someone that is working against children or working to. I don't believe every dude that wears a dress. I don't know. You know, I don't know. I don't know. People are just don't push the crap on others. Yeah, no one is. I mean, think about how crazy this is. I get the argument that children are at these places, and that's wrong. This event, there were no children there. It was 18 plus. How does that affect you? Honestly, think about that. If there's an event inside a private place, you're not going to see it. You're not going to hear about it. There are no children present because the establishment isn't going to allow it because you did your due diligence and stopped that from happening. And so you know it's only adults in a private place doing fuck all. Who cares? How does that affect you? And maybe it does. Maybe it does, and I just don't see that. So, and I'll be honest and say that. Boom, 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 boom. Someone said it affects the moral fabric of society. No, it doesn't, because the entire society is not in that private business at that point. Someone said it's satanic. Okay. Does the Bible say anything about cross dressing? I have no idea. Listen, I've already said it's fucking weird to me, and I could say that. I think it's weird. I've never once wanted to wear a dress and walk around in high heels. Never once. God, that would be disgusting, wouldn't it? But I've never, and when I said disgusting, I mean me in a dress and high heels. It would be disgusting. But I've never wanted to do that. So me, by nature, I just think it's a little bit weird. I don't think the people that are doing it are weird. I just think the action in itself is just, it's not normal to me. I don't pass judgment on other people for doing it because I don't care. If it was like, for example, if one of my brothers wore it every day, dressed up like a woman and all that shit, yeah, I would I'd probably be a little bit more like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because you know what I mean? But it would still be their choice. I don't know. I don't know why so many people care. Someone said, I seriously question a parent that thinks drag and kids should mix. I question the men that want to perform for kiddos even more. 100%. I agree with everything you just said there on YouTube, Echo Romeo. 100%. Too many people out here trying to look for things because their life sucks. Stop complaining and mind your own business. Yeah. Why knock out the entire county? I don't know. It's not like they're going and cutting the power lines on the building. These people are terrorists. Do you know what I mean? They're terrorists. Whoever did this is a terrorist. It could have been something literally not to do with anything else. It could have been some guy that wants to rob a gun store, so he knocked down the power to everything. We don't know. We don't know. Richard Davis said, I never wore a dress, but you do have a price. That's gross. Igor, that's not happening. $50 super chat saying for the Steve Dress Fund. Nope. Andrew said, why are you arguing? Steve has a point, and if this was a right-wing person that did this, it's going to make us look bad. Yeah, we don't know if it's a right wing. We don't know if it's left wing. We don't know if it's three people that just made decisions at random that they're all drunk and they're going to go ride out and shoot different, do target shooting in the middle of the night. We have no idea. But I could say, because the chances of them being, the chances of it being three separate drunk people that are in the woods doing target shooting and they shoot multiple rounds at power stations, substations, chances of that are like zero. Okay. So I'm going to make the conclusion myself that we know it was vandalism on these substations and it's terror. In my book, it fits terror, just as I think people throwing Molotov cocktails at police car is their acts of domestic terror. People disagree with me on that, but that's my belief. It's not going to change. Dun, 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 dun. Let me see. Parents need to do better, but their problem. Someone said, if it was 18 plus, then I'm thinking something fishy here. Yeah, I mean, you could make the argument that this could have been someone that wanted children to be in this event. You could have think about that. And so they were so pissed off that the Sunset Theater gave in that they went out and planned this big domestic violent extremist attack. You never know. Someone said, how do you know if you aren't there, if there are no children? Because I like to assume that not every person wants to go and do that shit in front of kids. I have to assume that. I have to. I'm an American. I hold values. I have to assume that not everyone is evil. I think most people are, but I have to assume that they're not, because I'm not going into a drag show. I'm not going to make myself the drag police. And Steve Sarakman on YouTube, if you are that concerned, then you start going to the events. You know what I mean? If you're that concerned, you start going to the events and doing it. For me to say for me to pass judgment, I don't pass judgment on other people. I try not to, at least. Sometimes I do it, but Mandy said, I'll keep watching and closing chat. No, it's Sunday. I'm just reading the chat, having fun with you. Look how the topic causes division because we're all letting it. I don't have facts on the event, so I'll wait to comment. Yeah. Well, I've given all the facts that are available. You had a dad, didn't you, Steve? Said Crassel. Yes, I did. I don't know what that has to do with anything. If you're trying to reference that he raised me the right way, I grew up in fucking foster care. He didn't raise me the right way. Okay. So nice try with that one, buddy. So I grew up in a broken home, bro. And even with all that, I still understand that people are allowed to be themselves, even if I don't agree with it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why people find it so hard to believe. D. Tom said, so then again, why is the damn drag queen thing in the title fueling that narrative if we don't have evidence of? Because a drag queen event was shut down. They had protests that same day about a drag queen event. It was already in the news. I use that as a reference because in all reality, I firmly 100%, you want to know the truth? Here's what I believe. I firmly 100% believe that people that wanted to shut down that drag queen event went into the woods and attacked the substations. With 100% certainty, that's what I believe happened. Okay? I was trying to be a neutral journalist and say, no, it didn't happen. But with my personal belief, with 100% certainty, that is what happened. I don't believe there was any other motive for it whatsoever. And I'm not saying the right wingers, because yeah, like I said, there could be the example of the pedophiles that are pissed. Now kids can't go there, so they go and do this attack. The chances of that happening are pretty slim. But does that make sense? Because with what I've already learned about this thing, with the amount of protests and the amount of vitriol that's all over social media regarding this event, I can safely assume with a 99% certainty that this was caused by people that wanted to shut down that event. Does that make sense? Let me fast forward to all the real new comments. Someone said, how dare Steve have his opinion on the show? Yeah. Someone said it could be a false flag. I don't like false flags. I don't like that expression because no matter what, it's still a domestic violent extremist attack. Someone said, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong? What? That they weren't targeting the domestic violent, or they weren't targeting a drag event? They were targeting something. It's still a domestic terror event. My personal belief is this is the case. Someone said, I just remember Steve showing him in women's clothes. I don't know who you're talking about. Boom, 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 boom. How many people were in the woods for your report? I don't know how many. There's three substations were attacked or vandalized is what they're calling it. Boop, boop, boop. Someone said they attacked the power, not people. That's not bad. LOL. Yeah. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. They instilled fear. That's what a terror attack is. E. Richard said, what if you're wrong? What will be the news story? Again, so Richard, are you saying that I can't have an opinion on my channel? Are you trying to encroach in my free speech and say that I'm not allowed to have an opinion about a scenario because it doesn't fit your narrative, Richard? I bet you voted for Biden, dude. Yeah, seriously. And I'm not trying to say that to be an insult, but it really clarifies. Like sometimes when you have a question, like sometimes when I'm arguing with my wife and she's saying something that just doesn't make sense whatsoever, and I'm like, come on, dear, it's not making any sense. What are you trying to say? And she's like, and then I remember she voted for Biden. There's like a little dead brain cell somewhere in her head that causes her sometimes to say something stupid. I love you, dear, in case you're watching. Do you know what I mean? I think Richard is that way. Any banks get hit while power is down? No, a Walmart gun store apparently had reports of, or a gun store and a Walmart both had reports of looting, according to the Pilot, which is a local news outlet there. Someone said, how close to the military bases were the outage? I don't know. Is there a video? Did someone hear gunshots? How did they know it was shot up? I don't know. Probably when the police got there and saw the bullet holes. That's the only. I mean, when you have the sheriff says that it was vandalism, and you have, power workers quoted as saying that there were bullet wounds or bullet holes, and you can kind of assume that there were guns. What big dude was cross-dressing? What are you talking about? Someone said, just don't call your opinion fact or news. No, because it is a fact if I'm saying it. Do you understand? It's a fact to me. Because I said with 100% certainty, and then I changed it to 99. But do you see anywhere where it says news? Do you see anything right now? Have I prefaced this by saying, this is a news broadcast? No, this is clearly opinion. If you can't tell that, then I don't know why you're here. OG Rule, your comment. He's OG Rule on Twitch said, I go to drag shows to meet chicks, but I end up confused and drinking heavily. Janine Pritchard said I had to validate that, or they had to validate the heightened threat level. That could be true too. Is that what you guys meant when you say false flags? It's still a domestic terrorist attack. Fritz said free speech is about having an opinion that you have. Yeah, I know. A lot of people don't like it. Steve said, here we go with the voting for Biden insults. Steve, why are you in my chat? Mods, just get rid of the Steve Sarak, man. He's always in here and he's just negative fucking Nancy. So mods, you can get rid of him. Get rid of E. Richard too. You said first you're Canadian, stop projecting. You hate Biden and Trudeau, by the way. I don't give a fuck. Let's just, the people that are just going to be stupid, just get rid of them. Do I have to turn into the angry turnip again to have people like stop watching the show? That's the whole reason I did that again. That's the whole reason I did it, because we were full of all these crazy, like far right wingers. I am a conservative. I am not a Republican. Okay. I'm a conservative and I'm an American. I have my own opinion. My opinions don't need to follow a line that you deem is what you need to hear. That's the beauty of all this stuff. I can have whatever opinion I have. Do you know what a false flag is? Yeah, it's where you do an attack to represent something else, to fearmonger. I don't believe this is a false flag. There's no evidence to prove that this is a false flag. Someone said, Steve, show the Angry Viking videos. Yeah, I don't know. I said it when I showed the Angry Viking videos of him wearing a dress. I don't understand it. Don't understand it. The reason why I showed the videos of Angry Viking dressing up and dancing as a woman wasn't because he was dressing up and dancing as a woman. It's because he led a patriot movement, a huge one with national attention. And then he fades off into obscurity, starts cross-dressing and making, videos. I thought that was newsworthy. Boom, 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 boom. That's just my belief. Someone said, oh yeah, he's not far right. Sherry said, bye, Steve. Bye. I don't know if people think. Someone said, the world laughs at us drag queens, too much attention. It causes them to be worse. For all the attention it gets, children are dying of drugs every minute. Yeah, I know. There's so many more things we could focus all of our energy on. Think about that, guys. People will go out and protest outside of drag queen events, but they won't protest like when fucking actual First Amendment, is being infringed upon. They won't go protest and show up at flag waves. They won't protest any of the shit that happened in 2020. I never understood that. But sure, a dude straps on a dress and goes and wants to dance, not in front of kids, just at like this event, which there were no children. The establishment said no kids. They're still going to go out and protest and cite Bible things and all that stuff, but you can't even get people to show up for a flag wave in this country anymore. Like, come on. Does that make sense? 3-letter alphabet agency is what happened to the Viking. Gotcha. Tim said, you're so sick of dudes wanting to be chicks. Yeah. I don't care. It's never, but like I already said, I think it's a little different, but I don't care. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect me if a dude's wearing a dress. It doesn't. Robert Palmer was in the power station. I don't know what that means. Someone said, I haven't heard about the Angry Viking in years. Does he have a platform? He's got a huge platform. Way, 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 way bigger than he ever had before. And nobody knows who he is. And he doesn't talk about freedom and march and do all that stuff. No. And more power to him. Like, because I'll be honest, when I first saw it, I called him because I have his number and I called him and I'm like, bro, what the fuck? What the fuck? And he's like, man, I got to do what you got to do. And I'm like, more power to you. He's like, please don't say anything. I'm like, I won't, do you? God rides a Harley said it doesn't affect you either unless we're both wearing the same dress. Ay. Someone said, will you check, Steve? All ages means children. Did they say no children? Yeah, the Sunshine Theater said no children. Nobody under 18. That's facts. You can't, and it wasn't initially. It was an all ages show initially, and then the protesters shut that down. And so the establishment themselves, the Sunshine Theater, said that it was closed to anyone that was younger than 18 years old. So at that point, what are you protesting for? That's like protesting a Chinese food restaurant because you personally hate Chinese food. Like literally, that's the simplest example I could give. If I was like out there being like, Chinese food sucks. Chinese food sucks. Why are you eating Chinese food? You should be eating Italian food. Chinese food sucks. You know what I mean? It's such a generic example, but that's the best example I can give. Or going to a Hot Topic and protesting outside there because you believe in PacSun more. I mean, Hot Topic, some of that clothing, it shouldn't be acceptable anyway. They should have age restrictions on what they sell. Flip Floppin said, man, your followers, subscribers are lost. They need help ASAP. I know. Every now and then I try to, we have such a good audience. You know what I mean? Every now and then we get carried away because people think because I'm wearing a shirt that says established in 1776 and I got We the People tattooed on me that I'm going to go strap on fucking body armor and go kick in the doors of Congress. That shit ain't going to happen. Back in 2020 when the Patriots did that in Salem, Oregon, remember that? I lost like hundreds of subscribers that day because I was like, those people are not patriots. When January 6th happened and people were storming into the Capitol, I lost hundreds of subscribers that day because I'm like, those people are not patriots. The people that are committing crimes in order to, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. This lady, the Emily Grace, I don't know anything about her, but I can say there's absolutely nothing wrong with her taking a bunch of people and going to DC on January 6th. She never went to the Capitol. She wasn't arrested. She still lost her commissioned job with the United States Army because cancel culture canceled her. Like if anyone's got like truthful like angst towards society right now, it should be her and the countless other people that lost their jobs simply by going and listening to Donald Trump's speech. Someone said, Steve, were our forefathers patriots? They're our forefathers. Would I call them patriots? Sure. We're not talking about our forefathers. We're talking about now. You know what they didn't have and back then? Twitter, social media, YouTube, none of that shit. There's different ways of doing stuff. Someone said, news flash, our founding fathers broke laws. Okay, guys, you understand what I'm saying. And if you don't, fucking unsubscribe. Like right now, let's just make it one big uniform. Like, let me, check after and I lost like 100 subscribers. Do it. Like if you can't understand what I'm saying right now, or you're just unwilling, just unsubscribe. Don't watch anymore. Like seriously, we'll make it easy. Just unsubscribe. You don't need to say, oh, fine, I'm out of here. Just go. That's the beauty of it. Like if you're watching a program you don't like, do you just yell at the TV or do you typically change it? That's what you should do. This country was born in insurrection. I don't care if anyone is trying to say that you have the right to storm the Capitol and break windows and smear shit on the walls. You don't. You don't. You know why? Because I tell you don't have that right. Oh, I know. Now you're like, oh shit. What do you mean by that? Because I pay taxes too. So when you smear the shit on the walls, not you per se, but the other people that did, they smear shit on my walls in my house. Do you understand? That's how I take it. So when you breach a Capitol, when you breach that, when you attack police officers, you are attacking me. And if all America felt that way, then we'd actually be able to get somewhere. But the leftists don't believe that. They believe they can attack cops. And there's some on the right that believe that as well. They're like, it's our house. We can storm through. We can punch cops. We can do that because they don't have our back. They don't protect the oath. Nah. Think about it in a different way. That's my belief. And a lot of people don't agree with that. But what I would like people to do, and I mean it in sincerity, like good way, like if you just fundamentally disagree with what I just said, just please unsubscribe. Don't watch anymore. Like make it super easy. You know? That's what I believe. That's what I believe. Tasha said, Steve, did you forget the Democrats stormed the Capitol way before January 6th? And what relevance does that have to anything I just said? Yeah, we know. They stormed it 33 times. Yeah. What relevance does that have to anything I just said? Someone said, if you're attacking cops because they are killing a woman, you are a patriot. Yes, but the majority of people weren't doing that. There were like 15 people around Roseanne Boylan while she was being beaten. Do you know why Ashley Babbitt was killed? Do you guys know why she was killed? Besides being murdered by a police officer, she was killed because she was trying to stop people from breaching the Capitol. And then when it got out of control, she tried, and you could see because there's a video of her, the guy that was smashing the window that she eventually got shot trying to climb through. She punched that guy because he was smashing the window. Those are facts. Those are facts. The left media is not going to let you know that. And the right media or the people on the right, the talking heads that are like, oh, January 6th, blah, blah, blah. They're not going to talk about that either. Because then that shows that there were people inside the White House or that went into the Capitol that are like, what are you guys doing? The best moment from the January 6th videos, any of it, was the guy that was yelling at the police officer, the police officers. And he's like, why aren't you stopping it? Why aren't you stopping it? Why aren't you stopping it? That's what he just kept saying to him. That was the best one. You know, Roseanne Boylan was murdered by police. I know there's people that disagree with that. I watched the video. I'm coming to the conclusion that she was murdered by police. Someone said, Steve, you should grow the mohawk out. It's not a mohawk. It's called, what is that? Widow's Peak? Something like that. Someone said, you know, when our forefathers were in charge, they were making waves. Some of them were still teenagers. A lot of them 35 or younger. Could you imagine? Yeah. Bum, bum, bum. I think her point about Dems attacking the Capitals, nothing happened to any of them, unlike J6. Yeah, but there's nothing we could do about that right now. There's nothing we can do. We could still highlight it. We could still talk about it. I'm under the impression that the majority of people that, and quote me, I could be wrong. The majority of people that are currently detained on charges related to January 6th all committed some sort of offense. Some of them should never, some of them, the majority of people that are being detained should not be, they weren't given bail, right? A lot of them are charged with assaulting police officers. A lot of them are charged with destroying property. Initially, there were people that were being remanded for literally damaging grass. They didn't even go in the Capitol. You know, we've covered it for 2 years. Where have you guys been? We've covered it for 2 years. I believe everybody should have due process, but I also believe in our justice system, as flawed as it is, you know? And I say that, and I almost like regurgitated a bit in my mouth because I want to believe in our justice system. So let me clarify that. I want to believe in our justice system. I think it's incredibly flawed now. But I'm a believer in law and order, and I believe that if you commit a crime, no matter how validated you feel for committing that crime, you must suffer the consequences of doing that crime. And that's my belief. And a lot of people disagree with it because they believe that you can, that if one person commits a crime and gets away with it, then everybody should have the right to go and commit that crime. I'm not that guy, nor will I ever be that guy. I'm not the kind of guy that's going to be like, oh, well, they blocked the highway, so we can do it. And then when we get arrested for doing it, even though we were yelling that they should be arrested, when we get arrested, we're going to be like, this isn't fair. It's like my kid. My older boy gets to stay up till 9:30 watching TV. The younger boy has to go to bed at 9. Every night he does the same fucking thing. Well, Riley gets to stay up and watch TV. Why don't I get to? It's the same shit because he's older. He can do what he wants. When Riley gets grounded, he has to go to bed at 8:30. You get to stay up later than that. Can you imagine him throwing that hissy fit? Billy said, Steve, 95% of the people who walked through the Capitol didn't damage property, attack cops, or acted violently. Everyone agrees that the people that did acts of criminality deserve to be held accountable. But when the whole population of those who walked in shouldn't be labeled as the same by the ones who committed the crime. Correct. And do you label them the same? Because here's the thing, unless you have some secret way of controlling Democrats, the insurrection was the most powerful thing. The only people that benefited from that were Democrats. And for this example, they get to label anybody else. They're labeling this lady, the Emily lady. They label her as an insurrectionist, even though she's never been charged with a crime. Merely for going there. They tried to oust a police chief, a New Hampshire police chief, because he was in D.C. on January 6th. He wasn't anywhere near the Capitol. They literally tried to get him fired. Other people have lost their jobs because of that. Are they all insurrectionists? No. Is anyone an insurrectionist? No. Are people committed criminal acts there? Yes, sure. Not the people that walked through the open doors by the police officers and left when they were told. That's why they didn't get charged. You think only 800 people walked into that Capitol, boys and girls? Do you think only 800 people walked into that Capitol? We all saw the video. There were tens of thousands of people that walked into that Capitol and were on Capitol grounds. They're not going after people that weren't going in and smashing up shit and doing those things. It's plain and simple. They weren't. They're going after people that were committing crimes, no matter how validated people feel about it. Someone said J6 was not an insurrection or treason. I 100% disagree with you, Charlie. Or who said that? Cisco Kid. 100% disagree with you. I do believe J6 was treason. 100%. But the fact is, I don't think anyone that's ever been charged thus far or convicted is guilty of treason. I believe the people that were treasonous are the ones that we're not hearing about in the J6 hearings. I believe the people that are treasonous, in fact, some of them have direct power over the J6 hearings. I think Nancy Pelosi, I think Muriel Bowser, I think high-ups in the Trump administration coordinated that attack. It doesn't benefit the Trump administration at all to have a riot. Not at all. And so I firmly believe that it was treason. But we're never going to know by who. And we're never going to hold them accountable. You know? Someone said tens of thousands. Really? Did you not watch it? Maybe not tens of thousands. Well, yeah, it could have, because a tens of thousand could be 11,000 people. Did you not watch the video? Who was that just said that? Eric Greats? Did you not watch the video outside the Capitol? Because that was all restricted grounds. So technically, every single person that was outside of the Capitol, all the people that were on the scaffolding, all those people that were getting tear gassed by the cops when they're shooting down before anyone went into the Capitol, all of those people were committing a crime. They had unlawful entry to Capitol grounds or unlawful entry to restricted property, whatever the actual charge is. Every single one of them could be subjected to a crime. They're not going after them because in many cases, you saw police actually opening the doors. Thousands of people walked into the Capitol. You saw that from the videos. Thousands of people walked in the Capitol. They're not going after every single one of them. They're not going because they deem that some people were like Jade Sacker. She was in the Capitol. She went in with John Sullivan. They made out in the middle room. Remember, she's not been charged. She's not going to get charged. They know her. The FBI already talked to her. They contacted me because they wanted my emails for her. She's not going to jail because her dad's a rich fucking Hollywood attorney, in my belief. Do you know what I mean? But these are the truth. Nobody likes it, but sometimes the truth is hard for people to hear. You know what I mean? Someone said, if that was my town and they wanted children there, those are groomers and pedos, and I run them out of town, period. Yes, and I 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. But thoughts on Pelosi saying the Capitol is their house? I always thought it was a representation of us, and it was basically saying we, the people, no longer have power. I mean, you could make the argument and say it is a little bit her house. Because whether we like it or not, she's an American citizen. It's the people's house. She is still people in America, even if she's actively working against us. Like, by us, I mean Americans. Someone said Antifa was amongst the protesters. Yeah, we know that. John Sullivan was arrested. Boom, 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 boom. Someone said, why would power stations not be watched all the time? Kind of weird for reports saying it will happen like it was a setup. Yeah, I mean the thing that's interesting about power stations is we have them all over the place, and I've thought about that too. I'm like, it is kind of crazy because someone could take a hand grenade. Well, I'm not going to say it, but you know what I mean, and it would be done. There's no protection. Sure, they may have a camera or two, but it's not everyone. A power station essentially is like one of those things, the buildings that you see that's all blocked off by chain link fences, and then every now and then you'll see a power line guy working in there. Otherwise, it's kind of self sufficient. But you would think that, it would be a little bit more secure. Someone said, I heard John Sullivan had his J6 charges dismissed. I'll look. I don't think so. Here, can I do it on this computer? Oh, God, can you imagine? I'll have to end this video and make a new one if that's the case. Bum, 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 bum. Nah, they're not dismissed. Why are you making up stuff? Dun, 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 dun. I'll tell you what the last status update was on his case. Bum, 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 bum. November 6th, there was an order, or sorry, October 6th, 12-page order. By the way, I got to pay for this when I see this. No. So this is because nothing's going to happen for them. Because look, this is a pretrial order for him. So nothing is going to happen to him. This is just basically saying the state has until November of 2023, or I'm sorry, July of 2023 to provide all their disclosures and all that stuff. So yeah, his case has not been dismissed. In fact, he was actually charged with more since his original indictment. He had a superseding indictment, and he was charged with lying to FBI agents and carrying a weapon on Capitol grounds. So they did a motion to dismiss in May of this year, but that was thrown out. So there you go. That's the update. And then, but it's weird because it said case assigned or reassigned. So it must have been assigned to a new trial judge. But that's it. Yeah. They keep continuing. He's got a high-priced attorney. He made all that money. They seized all the money, but he's been trying to get back that money for a long time. Someone said it should be a test run to see if the power could be knocked out all over the country. It could be. I mean, and you would think that this would be it'd be interesting. All right, so let me explain what's transpired. The name of this title, which just caused like a 30-minute, like going crazy. So basically, last night around 7:30, 8 o'clock, there started to be some reports of people losing power, and then when the power companies went to investigate, they noticed that at several of their power substations, they were vandalized with bullet wounds. Bullet impact, whatever. So it was deemed to be an act of vandalism, is what the police are calling it. They will likely upgrade that at that 4 o'clock press conference. But as of right now, they have not been able to restore power to all those people. Upwards of 40,000 people are currently without power. 3 power grids were affected by this. And they're calling it an act of vandalism. Other people in our chat want to say it's an act of God because there's a drag queen show going on. My personal belief is that this was an attempt because there were protests over this drag show for a long time. My personal belief is that this was an attempt, and I would say 98% certainty, 99, that this has direct connections to that drag queen performance thing. And that's my belief. But as of right now, power's still down. Police are investigating. There were reports of looting yesterday. One was at a Walmart, and the other one was a couple of gun stores. No, we haven't heard anything else other than that. And yeah, some people in our chat are calling it an act of God. And there's bullet holes in these power stations. I don't know how you can call that an act of God, but some people like to do that kind of stuff. You know, someone said those Twitter files aren't the narrative now, are they? Didn't take long to shift from it. Nobody's talking about this except the independent guys now. It hasn't even made national news yet. You know, Eric Roots said drag, and you've been watching this whole time. So you already know your statement has already been disproven, but you still chose to write it, which is weird. You said drag shows for kids are wrong, but so is vandalizing a power station. Vandalizing was in quotes. Again, this wasn't a drag show for children. It initially was, and then they blocked all the kids from coming and they made it 18 up. So saying drag kids for shows are wrong, which everyone agrees, but you're making an unfair whatever to this drag show because it's not for kids. See what I mean? I call it a setup to look like conservatives. Could be. You could run through the scenarios. Could it be a setup to go after conservatives? That's one scenario. Could it be conservatives that were doing it to shut down the drag queen thing? That's another one. Could it be someone that was attempting to do something else outside of those two events, to rob a business or a bank? That's one. Or could it be a full-on attack by leftists who wanted to see kids in a drag show and they're pissed that conservatives got that shut down? That's four. There are essentially four options, or an act of God. So five options. You know, that's it. Boom, boom, boom. A lot of people across some lines they can't uncross, someone said. I don't know. I firmly disagree. We won't ever know who committed treason because they were called out because of their power in government. They will never be charged. Wait, what? You said, I firmly disagree that we won't ever know who committed treason because they were called out, because of their power in government, they will never be charged. We will never know who actually was behind January 6th. They don't want us to know. We will never, ever, ever know that, guys, just so you know. And if you think that we will, oh, man. The sports room said Steve Oatley now they're reporting that the outage isn't being investigated as criminal. Yeah, I know. I get it always before mainstream media. So does everybody else. You know? Our grandkids may find out, someone else said. Yep. Someone said, why an act of God? Because it was written, that was written by someone on Facebook that was part of the protests at the Drag Queen Story Hour. They referenced it as an act of God because they posted on their social media. It said drag queen, or they said the drag show has been canceled and I know what happened. They put that on social media. So, of course, the sheriff showed up at her house a short time later. And again, and I'll clarify for anyone that doesn't know what I'm talking about, that was the same lady that was involved at bringing a group. Remember, there was that Army psychological warfare officer that never went into the Capitol, never even went to Capitol grounds, but she still lost her job and all that stuff. And everyone was like, holy crap, why do you have an Army psychological warfare officer there that day? You know, especially when so many people believe it was a psyop anyway. That her name is Emily Rainey. She is the one that's no longer in the military, but she was one that was participating in the protests outside of the Drag Queen Story Hour yesterday, or Drag Queen show yesterday. And then she also was the one that took to social media and said the Drag Queen show was canceled, and I know why, prompting the police to go investigate, to which she said she doesn't know why. It's an act of God, and that God is coming, or something like that. That's what she said. You know, she had a big long expose in the New York Times. Bum, bum, bum. Dan Rodriguez said, after you got off last night, Elon said there would be a J6 Twitter files dump in the future. I don't believe any of that shit anymore. After listening to that thing as long as I did yesterday, I believe that we were all it's a troll to get a bunch of users onto Twitter, because think about it. They released all the data on Twitter. All the other people that said they were going to leave Twitter had to come back to be able to see it. They did a Twitter Spaces, which you got to be on Twitter to see that as well. So my thing is, I just think I think it's all fake. And to be completely honest, that's my personal belief. Because nobody's even talking about the biggest thing. Like I said yesterday, the biggest thing about this whole story is the fact that the federal government is behind all this shit. Like, truly behind. Where is this fucking Lowe's order? Unbelievable. Is a woman affiliated with Antifa? No, kind of the opposite, bro. She's like a religious person, or at least says she is. I don't know who she is. I could probably try to get her for an interview, but I don't want to. Guys, if you want to support the stream, you can do so via the link in your chat. This is what you do. You can send like any amount if you want, but if you're angry and you're frustrated by what I've said, if you send a larger amount, it's scientifically proven to make me end the show sooner. Like, in all reality, like if you send me like $100 bill, like someone send me $100 right now and I'm out, I'll shut this fucker off. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, not $100. You got to send like $500. You want to end this show and cancel me? Send me your money. Someone said Lowe's order not ready. Must be an act of God. Yeah. $8 still isn't active in most countries, only on iPhones. Yeah, you got to have an iPhone to do it. That's what I did. I had my tablet and I got verified on Twitter. I got that blue check mark. Someone said, you really glow today? I don't know what that means. I got to sleep it in till 8 o'clock, which is nice, if that's what you're referencing. And shaved the head, trimmed up the beard. Well, I didn't trim it length. I trimmed up the stash, so I wasn't eating food like 6 hours later. You know. Does Lowe's deliver? Yeah, they do. Bobby said that's how you grift. You don't know what grifting means, because what I'm doing is not grifting, because I'm providing a service and then saying, hey, if you like said service, you could do it. Grifting would be like, hey, I'm going to tell you about something, but you got to pay me first. And then when you pay them, then you don't do it. That's a grift. And that's why it's funny when people use grifting, they don't understand the context. And so it literally goes against, even though you're trying to like insult someone, it doesn't work because you don't even know what you're saying. So it makes you look stupid, even though you're trying to make the other person look stupid. See, you know, Bobo, you just made yourself look stupid. Boom, boom, boom. Cheryl said, like selling a book in advance. Nope, because we've still been working on the book. And that's why anyone that didn't want the book didn't have to buy it, because it was not going to be done for a long time. And that's what we said. And I still work on it. I actually typed a little bit on it last night. I've been working on it for a long time. And we still have all the information. And we sent out free books to all those people as well. So, Cheryl, you can go fuck off too. You're right. I know what some of these people are, the ones that are on that other chat all day talking shit about me, and they just come in because they're bored and they miss seeing my face. And that's why they come on here. But and it's cool, man. You know, you're fine. You're fine to be in here, Cheryl, you piece of shit. Was that too much, Cheryl? Papa's Faster said, long time no see, brother. Yeah, buddy. Is it a sequel to what's on? No, I've been writing a book that's more, it's kind of my life. But at first I started with my early childhood, and then I realized I didn't want to write anything about that. Well, I didn't want you guys to know about it because I've lived a hard life, you know, with the whole foster care and all that stuff. So then I kind of fast forwarded until I started getting involved in the political side of things. And now I'm about 180 pages deep. I got to figure out how it's going to end. That's kind of where I am now, is I'm like, what do I do, man? You know, Cheryl said, you're a bigger piece of shit. Oh, thanks, Cheryl. Like, why don't you unfollow the page and go fuck off? Like, go play with your goats or something. Okay, Cheryl? You don't need to be here. You don't need to be here, Cheryl. Hold that thought, Cheryl. I just don't like you. Cause you're a pain in my ass, Cheryl. Well, you're lucky. I may not be able to get into the comments. So you're lucky. Here, maybe I can. Nope, you're lucky I can't. Damn it, Cheryl. I'm gonna get you the fuck out of here. I'm gonna be like, fuck off, Cheryl. Fucker. You're lucky. Why can't I fucking see it, bro? Stream set dashboard. It should be under dashboard. Oh, there it is. Where is you at, Cheryl? Type a comment. Type a comment. No, this isn't it. Am I not live on Facebook? What is going on here? Bear with me 1 second. I want to get rid of Cheryl's. I think I may just have to ban all Cheryl's from my chat. I may just have to do that. Is just ban Cheryl's, because Cheryl's are always just negative. She's on Facebook. It's normally the Facebook ones that are the biggest pain in my ass. Boom, boom, boom. I didn't see what else she wrote because I was over there. No. Someone said, I don't see what she wrote. I think Facebook's being slow. Cheryl may got a lucky. Someone said, Steve, you're going to yell at an old lady, but let this country get stolen from him and not do a thing. I don't know what you're saying. I'm not yelling at anybody. And what if who said that? 619? Dude, I'm doing more than you, bro. I get up here and talk to the people every single day. What do you do? What do you do? And I'm not meaning that to be negative. I'm meaning that to be truthful. Every single day I get up here and I read the news and I tell you what's actually happening in this country, the shit you don't see on mainstream media. And you're going to criticize me because I don't want trolls in my chat that are just being negative all day? Do you know what I mean? I just don't get that very much. But isn't it usually a lot of Cheryl's? I think it's usually a lot of Cheryl's. I think she deleted her fucking comments. So I can't find her to ban her now that I got it on this computer. Yeah. But it is what it is. I was just going to ban you. I wasn't going to write anything mean. I was just going to be like, go away, man. You know? Because I tried to ask everybody just to go on your own. If you can't handle going out on your own, I'll say goodbye. Someone said, Steve, give me your thoughts on the Lavoy Fincom gun down on video. I don't know what that is. Someone said, tell him this is my page if you don't like it. Nah, I mean, because normally, like, you could just tell someone, like, if you don't like it, just don't watch it. 619 have been talking shit all morning, but we let him hang out. Ah, fuck that, God Rides. Get rid of that fucker, too. Like, listen, this isn't a channel. And you could say, oh, Steve is censoring me. Oh, he doesn't believe in the First Amendment. No, what I believe is not getting distracted by stupid ass comments in the chat. God damn, Cheryl, you're lucky as fuck. Because I'm scrolling all the way past through the chats trying to find your damn name. And I can't find your comments. I can't even go any further in the comments. The truth of the matter is, this is the platform that I'm responsible for. Boom, boom, boom. Who's the guy that you can't? I don't know. See, I can't even find Cheryl. You got lucky. You got lucky, Cheryl. Shit. Someone said, I come and go as I please. F YouTube. Someone else said. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's what you're supposed to do. If you don't like what I'm doing, you change it off. If you think you're going to watch later on, you keep watching. Look at that, Robert. I upped it, remember, to $500. Robert's like, I sent you $100. Shut the fuck up. Didn't I up it to $500? I said 100 first, but then I said, no, 500. So, Robert, if you want me to end the show today, you got to send another 400. Thank you, seriously, Robert, for that $100 PayPal. It's been slower, man. It's been slower for the past couple of days. Cheryl deleted all her comments. Is that what happened? Nah, she'll be back in here. She's always in here. She can't get enough of the Steve. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking stupid. Cheryl works. I don't know what she's doing. Someone said she deleted them. I don't know if there's any validity to that. I can only assume because I can't find them. Nanner's apologizing to God Rides because she banned 619. And it sucks because he's been watching for a long time. Someone said, I want to know, did PB shut it down? Shut what down? PB wasn't at this protest in North Carolina. You're thinking of another drag queen story hour that was taking place in Ohio somewhere. And yeah, they did shut it down. Which, to be honest, I think is perfectly acceptable. I don't find anything wrong with that whatsoever. There was no violence. I think, the Patriot Front showed up and the Proud Boys rightfully on call them feds because that's what they are. But I don't think that I don't think there's anything wrong with people going out and protesting against a place. That's a First Amendment right. That's the truth. Someone said, tweeted you an article with a video. Yeah, but it's probably not one I could show online, right? Boom, boom, boom. I get too many tweets now because I'm very popular. Boom, boom, boom. I don't see. I see. Yeah, I don't see what you did. You got to send me like a message on Twitter for me to be able to see it. Someone said he's waiting because he's calm at the moment. What do you guys say? Are you saying I'm calm? It's fun. It's Sunday, boys and girls. It's Sunday. I'm gonna find out tomorrow how to make some mods on Facebook. Because I'll be honest, I was thinking today just not to live stream to Facebook anymore. Because for one, I know that's inhibiting the growth on YouTube because so many people watch on Facebook. If you look at the other accounts like Timcast or the Quartering, they don't live stream to any other platforms. They just they'll put the video later on Facebook and stuff. Or I think the Quartering does a short videos uploaded, but he doesn't live stream to Facebook. And because Facebook is censoring our distribution so much, I thought about and I may still do it starting tomorrow. I may just be on YouTube, the one main YouTube page, and I'll post the link to all the other pages. Because for one, God Rides, I forgot today was Sunday. I want to go and watch Tulsa King. Is it good? Don't tell me what it is, but is it good? Is it good? Where is my fucking Lowe's? I'm just going to go to Lowe's and be like, yo, where's my fucking mini fridge, man? I need my mini fridge. Shout out to you, Robert. I'm going to say it again. Thank you for that $100 PayPal. I appreciate that. We're up to $130. How long have I been live today? An hour and a half. It's not bad. I mean, my internet costs more than that. But, it is what it is. Someone said, I like you on Facebook Live. How many of you guys, though, on Facebook would just go watch over on YouTube if I did YouTube streams? Because in all reality, here's the thing. Like on Facebook right now, but see, my live videos are monetized on Facebook. So I've made $10 in ads on Facebook for the show. That's not bad. That's not bad. You watched the first episode of Tulsa King. It was pretty good. I like Tulsa King. Someone said Salty is a fan of live streaming on Rumble. Move there. I'm not a fan of live streaming on Rumble. I don't like it. So, will you get notifications on YouTube? I think if you go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and then hit the bell and then choose all notifications, that's when you'll get it. Someone said Columbus, Ohio, Buffalo man live streamed. Oh, Columbus was where that protest was. Yeah. And then Yellowstone's on tonight too. Someone said I hate Rumble. They're a mess. Yeah, and I've got a couple $100 with Rumble, and I couldn't get it. I can't get it. I don't know how to get it out of the platform. Boom, boom, boom. There is a guy, Bobby, on Truth Social that claims that Pete Santilli sent him out, that Pete was working for feds. He gets pretty worked up over it. Huh? I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't talked to Pete Santilli since we shut down Citizen Stringer. Have I ever thought about a cordless mic so I could walk around? Yep. And I have the lapel mics, but I lost I have the lapel receivers back here. That's what I used when I was in the gym. Shaq, I was supposed to deadlift today. But I lost the lapels, so I got to buy more. But I like doing that because I move around, so I could do this. That's why I have the sit-stand desk. So sometimes I'll sit, sometimes I'll stand. I'll do whatever. But yeah, if you guys want to try to top Robert with that PayPal, you can do so via this link right there if you want. And I appreciate it, all you guys that have supported. I really do. I know I don't say it enough to you guys, but I do. Do I still have a discount code for Spartan Armor? Yeah, I think it's Yeet Yeet, but they're only doing 5% now. But Yeet Yeet, Y-E-E-T, Y-E-E-T. Ooze something said, stop giving FBI a leg to stand on. It's just a prank. I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying is a prank. They're saying the fact that people attacked our substations and that's just a prank. Can I come to the conclusion that you're a fucking moron? It's not a prank. That's a domestic violent extremism. That's what it is. You know? It doesn't matter. It's because a lot of people think that, oh, Steve, you can't say that. That's a left-leaning talking point. I don't care. I call it what it is. I don't sugarcoat nothing. Nothing. Here's my on YouTube or on Facebook. Actually, I'm on the wrong chat. But I just put my YouTube page on Facebook. So if you want to follow that, I may try just for a couple of days because the YouTube views have been up lately. And so I want to try to just get to a platform where it's universal, where people will be able to watch, and it helps me monetize even more. Although with Facebook, I should be telling everyone from YouTube to go watch on Facebook because they do monetize my live streams and I make money. Rick said, I do appreciate what you do. Yeah, I know. Boom, boom, boom. I know you do. I don't use all the internet apps because my son pays for my phone and it's his card. You don't need to use an app for YouTube. It's free. We're not doing members only. Occasionally maybe to boost like membership, I'll shut down the chat and just make it members only chat on YouTube or something like that. But really what I'll probably do is do a lot of live streams on YouTube and then do special live streams on Facebook and Twitch for the subscribers and stuff like that. I don't know. Or maybe I'll always just go to Twitch as well because those guys have been there forever. The subscribers over there, they've been subscribers from ever. Fuck, dude, my stomach hurts. That means it's time to eat. Holy shit, it's 1:30. Where's my fucking order, dude? I'm just gonna have to go. I'm just gonna have to go and get. This is gonna fuck up my entire day. What time did I place that order? 9:49. They have 3. So 3 hours have already passed. Oh, you motherfucker. I'm putting this shit in my GPS. I'm going there right now. Because the bad part is I got to see how much room that's going to take in the car. Then I have to come back here and load up some of the coffee makers and stuff. And then go back and then go drop it all off at the store. Cheat. And then go from there. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate all you guys for speaking or for hanging out with me. And I hope that it was the best. Anyone that was really upset with me and didn't like my view on certain things, please unsubscribe. which is not typically what you say when you're trying to get more subscribers on a platform. But in all reality, like, I'm just going to talk about what I want. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. If you want to support the stream, you could do so via the link in your chat. It helps me to be able to keep doing this every day. And I will see you tomorrow for our normal shows. All right. Bye.